Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from the beautiful Talladega Super Speedway. These drivers are ready to rumble, ready to go to battle here this evening for what is going to be another very exciting show here at the Metalheads Truck Series, as this is the Big Red Customs Diecast 250 here at Talladega Super Speedway for our penultimate race of the season, the penultimate race here tonight, as drivers trying to work themselves into our final round of the playoffs here. I do believe 5 drivers will be eliminated from the playoffs after tonight. Drivers on the cut line right now are Michael Madden and Daniel Dow. They are not super far in front of Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner only 2 points back of Dow, 4 points back of Madden. And, man, the points are really tight here between really our top I'd say 9 drivers, I'd say are all within 18 points. Even the top 10 here, our playoff competitors, are all right there within like striking distance of potentially making it into the playoffs here, into our final round of the playoffs in just a couple more another week, not even a couple more weeks, another week as our championship race. See if we can get a quick look at our point standings up and onto the board here in just a couple seconds. See if we can pull this up, as we want to give you guys an opportunity to take a look at these point standings, see where these guys are at and everything else. As see if we can try to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. All right, let's take a look here quickly before we go green flag racing at these point standings. Give you guys a good look here at what these drivers are looking at, what they're dealing with here this evening, as Catania comes in with that points lead. He's got a 3-point gap between himself and the number 92 of Clinton Woodby. Woodby sits in second. Now he's got 1 point between himself, and I believe it is 7 points between him and that cut line. That number 133, not the 133, the 196 rider, Caleb Kleinert, who currently sits in 6 here in the point standings. You know, sitting back there, only 7 points, well, technically 2 points outside of a playoff spot. So the points are really, really tight when you look back at Kleinert, who's 2 points out. You look back at Justin Ronan, who's 4 points back. Skylar Berry, 5 points outside of the playoffs, 10 points back. You see Rusty Modesty, and I do believe it's about 17 points back for Colton Hardy. So Hardy going to have a little bit of a tougher go. Same with Rusty Modesty. But if you can jump up there, have a good run in the first stage, and then survive this race, make it to the end, and put yourself into a position to either win this race or come home with a solid run, it could put you potentially into the championship. As Kevin Winker, K-Dub says, oh, Daga, baby. Yes, sir. You know it, Winker. As it is Daga here this evening. Mystic says, let's go. He says, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get right into the action as we're going to get ready to set these drivers loose. We're going to get ready to go to battle here this evening as our penultimate race of the season is upon us. As starting on the pole in the 92, it is one of our championship competitors, the 92 rider, Clinton Woodby, to his outside. Another championship driver, the 01, Arusa Rodden, starts in position number 2. Nathan Nixon back in 4th. To his outside will be the 44 ride of Paul Ferdinand. Starting in the 5th position will be the 87 of John Herbert. To his outside, the Helveline 05, that is Joe Bennett, and starting back in position number 7 in the 196. That's the driver that's currently just on the outside of the cut line looking in. The 196 of Caleb Kleinert will start back in 7th. To his outside will be the number 2, the Sparkle and Shine, Anything EC number 2 of Daniel Dow. Starting back in the 9th position will be that Liquid Death Sonic Graphic Designs number 4 of Jesse Callaway. To his outside, the Muleburger Custom Homes Winker Nation number 42 ride of Kevin Winker. Our points leader coming into tonight, the 318 of Matthew Catania, will start back there in 11th. He's got Ashley Ellison Jr. there to his outside. Matt Hayden there in 13th with Nate Congdale back in the 14th position. Colton Hardy starting back in 15th with Michael Madden back in 16th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back in 17th with Michael Newman and Keith Prince rounding out our field as we get ready to go to battle. We get ready to duke it out as, here we go, we're going to end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are green flag racing here at Talladega Super Speedway as our penultimate race of the season gets underway. A great run quickly hooked together in that outside lane as the 44 ride up Paul Ferdinand. Gonna try to push that 01 of Rooster Rodden right to the point here this evening. Rooster will clear the inside lane. He'll stick with that outside groove though. Not gonna slide down. We thought maybe he jumped down in front of the 92 of Clinton Woodby, but he's gonna stay right there with the 44. But now looks like he'll make that move down to the inside lane down the back straightaway. So he jumps down in front of Clinton Woodby. Woodby will slide back into that 3rd position as Paul Ferdinand looking for the race lead here, looking strong up there in that beautiful 7-11 number 44 machine. So Paul Ferdinand looking for the race lead. They'll drag race back down the front straightaway into the tri-oval. The checkered flag is not in the middle of the tri-oval like Daytona International Speedway. You got to come through the tri-oval and almost down back into corner number 1. As there we go, leading lap number 1, it was Paul Ferdinand. So Paul Ferdinand able to lead the first lap here this evening as the 0-1 Rooster Rodden works down to his inside. Would be giving him a shove here as everyone's still stacked up 2 by 2 by 2. Now the big thing is going to be what the game plan is going to be here for a lot of these playoff drivers. A lot of these guys are very, very tight on points. They know that they're going to get a stage break here. I do believe we will see our first stage break of the day and our only stage break, I believe, at the completion of lap number 20. Now, fuel may not get them there. They may have to make a pit stop before lap number 20. We'll have to wait and see if these guys can stretch it that far or if green flag pit stops may be a possibility here in this first stage. But then we have a very long run to the end of this race, and you gotta know that, you know, looming in the background is that possibility of the big one, the big wreck that could potentially take out a lot of these drivers, including a lot of our playoff competitors. And if you're right there, if you're just above that cut line, you get tied up in something, you get tore up early on, and you're parked down pit road for an extended period of time, your championship hopes may go out the window. Same goes with some of those drivers that are below that cut line. You run into an incident or two, you have a destroyed truck, you don't have the draft, you don't have the runs that you're looking for. It could kind of just keep you back there deep in the field and not getting the run or performance that you need to try to win this championship, or at least try to put yourself into the championship race next Monday night. As this is the penultimate race, the second to last here this evening, and for all these drivers, they know that the penalties, everything else, you just got to be very, very cautious of that. When you're coming down pit road, you do not want to be coming down in a small pack. You want to make sure you're trying to pit with the majority of the field. As you come down pit road together, you can leave pit road together, and it's less likely that you're going to fall back, lose the draft, potentially go a lap down, especially in the final stage of this race. We're going to see that competition caution at the completion of lap number 20. That's where we'll give out top 5 stage points here. So the top 5 and the running order will earn stage points. But after that, it's going to be virtually, a 70-lap run to the checker flag when we get the green flag back out. If we don't see very many caution flags, if we see a couple green flag pit stops, it could really open up this race, especially if you get a penalty down pit road, if you run into a problem, you miss your pit stall, anything simple like that could cost you a chance at the championship here this year. So you want to be minding your P's and Q's, making sure you keep yourself out of trouble, making sure you don't make any simple mistakes out there on the racetrack, and just making sure that you are there. You are in the lead pack. You're in the battle. You can make some moves in the closing laps to try and put yourself up and into the winner's circle. And we've seen it time and time again here at these super speedways. Things can be looking really, really good, and a lot of times the driver who leads the white flag lap doesn't always necessarily come back to win the race. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. We've seen numerous crazy finishes here in these NASCAR trucks at the super speedways, and I don't think tonight is going to be any different. We could see some very big surprise winners here this evening. We could see a lot of our playoff drivers run into problems, have issues, and unfortunately maybe even slide outside of a playoff spot. Even for a driver that came in with the points lead, like the 318 of Matthew Catania, I'm not even sure if Catania is safe from not making it in to that final race, into that championship race next Monday. Came in with about a 10-point buffer here above the cut line, so had 10 points to his advantage between him in first and our sixth driver back in that 6th position. That 10 points really isn't a whole lot, especially if you give up points here to some of these other playoff drivers during this first stage. If you give those points up and you all of a sudden lose some points there to them, that gap goes from 10 to maybe down to 8 or 7. And all of a sudden, you get tied up in a couple incidents out there on the racetrack. You come home outside the top 10. They get a top 5 run, top 133 run, potentially, that leapfrogs you and puts you on the outside of our playoffs looking in. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that, as we do see a lot of drivers playing a little bit easier here, keeping themselves just a little bit farther back, still hanging on to the draft, but not wanting to put themselves into an area where if there's an early wreck, if there's an early incident, that you're not going to get tied up, you're not going to get used up and have a destroyed race car here, before we even hit 20 laps into this feature event. So as much as the stage points are nice, just surviving and being there at the end may be better, or maybe just trying to save a little bit of fuel back there, knowing that maybe fuel may become a tight question mark here towards the end of this stage. As Cold Fire says, let's go 44 and 05. Cheering on that 05 machine. Joe Bennett in the 44 of Paul Ferdinand. As Paul has been out in front here, he's looked really, really good. This beautiful Sitco, the 711 ride sits, right here, battle at the front of the pack, door to door with Kevin Winker now for this race lead. We know K-Dub no longer a part of the playoffs. That Muehlberger Custom Homes ride, always fast, always aggressive, always looking to try to put himself into the winning move here at the Super Speedway. So K-Dub is going to be one of those drivers that you may want to keep an eye on throughout this race. If he's there at the end, he can make some moves. Now for Kevin Winker, it tends to be normally either finishing the race, in a good position, whether it's winning or coming home in second, or potentially on his lid. We've seen him upside down a lot in a lot of these series, and unfortunately not being able to get the finishes that I think he really deserves. But you do see that team lined up right behind him here. That 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr., the 318 of Matthew Catania, and the 196 of Caleb Kleinert. They are teammates out there on the racetrack, and they're going to be hoping to try to get their CCR esports team up there to the front and trying to at least maybe try to pick up some extra points here for Catania, knowing that he would love to extend his points lead coming into this final run of the penultimate race. And obviously for Caleb Kleinert in that 196 ride, came in just 2 points back of a playoff spot here this evening. So being able to jump up there, as we do see the caution flag fly, so yellow flag is going to come out. Caution flag on the racetrack, and it looks like we're going to see maybe a couple drivers getting tied up in this one. Joe Bennett turned around, tore up out there on the racetrack. Same with Caleb Kleinert, one of those drivers that was just on that cut line here. Hopefully not too much damage there for that number 196 ride. We did see a few other drivers starting to head down pit road. I don't know if that was just to miss the action here. Let's see if we can take a look back. So let's take a look here. A couple of drivers just going to try to dip down low. Again, there you go. Contact 05 and that 42 of Kevin Winker. Sure, if Winker just gets a run to the middle here, that's exactly what it looks like. So let's take a look here at K-Dub. So Winker going to get a good run here into the middle, trying to get around this 05 ride. 44 pulls up in front of Bennett, and all of a sudden, let's play this back a little bit. We hit the wrong button. Let's slow it down. So he's going to see the 05 come up. He's going to see this number 44 get up there as well. He knows that they're losing a lot of speed, so he cuts down to the middle. Ashley Ellison Jr. goes with him, and it looks like Paul Ferdinand, he tries to move back down into that bottom lane, or into the second lane here, and it looks like Joe Bennett's just going to follow him through. Unfortunately for Bennett, was not clear. 42 ride had his nose in there, and they just make contact, and unfortunately it shoots the 05 down into the 2 ride. Doesn't look like too much damage there for Daniel Dow, but you do see the 05 unfortunately get shot up the racetrack. Hard contact into the outside fence, and our points leader gets a ton of damage in this one. Take a look at the 133 right here, about to run into the back end of him here. This is a tough break for Matthew Catania, as Catania just kind of gets nowhere to go. Sees the contact, sees the smoke, jumps up to the outside lane trying to avoid it. All of a sudden the 5 ride parked into the outside fence right in front of him. He gets right underneath of him there. Heavy damage. That shoves the 05 down into his teammate here, the 196 of Caleb Kleinert, and Keith Prince are going to get tied together. That's what shoots Prince down into the infield wall, and it looks like for Caleb Kleinert doing a great job, able to catch this truck and not getting a piece of that inside fence here. Great piece of driving, being able to save that thing. Could have been a whole lot worse in a quick hurry, and for a couple of these drivers early on, gonna have to be using their quick repairs, trying to get these cars fixed up and back into one piece. I do believe We're going to see Michael Madden at least a lap down right now. I'm not sure if that's just a scoring error or if potentially for Michael Madden, maybe he can get the wave around back onto the lead lap. We'll have to wait and see what the scoring looks like here for the number 15 machine, as it does show him at least a lap down here on the racetrack. That's not a fun place to be out there on the speedway, as he'll keep on rolling. Looks like he's going to click off a lap right there. Actually, maybe... No, he's one lap down. Okay, so he is one lap down. Tough break there for him, but we do see Daniel Dow come down pit road. Obviously got a little bit of damage out of that one. We saw Nixon, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Matt Hayden down pit side, Jesse Callaway, Michael Newman. We saw Caleb Kleiner come down pit road. Obviously going to need some tires onto that 196 ride. Probably flat spotted it. Obviously you see the 318 of Catania down pit road. Kevin Winker down pit side. Looks like Winker going to get some quick damage repaired there for his truck, and I do believe... Still parked down pit road. This may be an extended pit stop here for this 318 ride. So he's got some really heavy front end damage. That was a big hit there. That Kyle Busch, number 18, that NOS Energy ride, is Rowdy riding on board the hood here of Catania's machine this evening, trying to get a little shade of Kyle Busch out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, early on here, looking more like today's day and age of Kyle Busch, and maybe not like the 2017, 2018, or even maybe like the 2012 Kyle Busch, where he showed so much dominance and earned his 200 plus wins across all three NASCAR series. Is unfortunately that's some pretty big contact there, but the crew is doing a great job here, really going to work, really getting this truck fixed up in a quick hurry. We'll have to wait and see what this thing looks like as he rolls back out there onto the racetrack, but this is a great idea. Obviously staying out here, getting some extra work done to it, not using that quick repair this early in the night, knowing that he's going to save that in his back pocket for later on in the evening. We do see Keith Prince, though, still down pit side. Crew's definitely trying to get this thing figured out, trying to get this truck back into one piece to get him back out there on the speedways. Here we go. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing next time by the start-finish line. Is Paul Ferdinandi with the race lead. It's Ashley Ellison Jr. now in second. Rooster Rodden there in third, with John Herbert back in fourth. Clinton would be rounding out our top five here on the speedway. Nate Cogdell, Colton Hardy back there in position number 7, as Clinton would be there in 5th. And then we see Daniel Dow back in 8th, Nathan Nixon, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. rounding out our top 10. Matt Hayden back there in the 11th position, as looks like they're going to move around the 40 ride right here. I'm not sure if Nathan Nixon just trying to get a drink or something, or if he's just not sure where he's supposed to get lined up, but kind of stacks things up there a little bit. Everyone will have to try to get lined back up again, as we did see Catania come back down pit road. Now this is going to have to be a quicker pit stop here for Catania. We did see Caleb Kleiner also make his way back down pit road. Did look like Michael Madden got the wave around the lucky dog back onto the lead lap here, so great break there for that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15 ride. But for Catania, he's down pit side. He's just got to hope that as he gets work done to this truck, he doesn't wait too long down pit road, so that way he can get lined up with the rest of the field here and hopefully not go a lap down this early in the race. And even if he did go a lap down, at least for that 318 ride, the stage break is just around the corner, so he'd be able to bounce back in a quick hurry. Obviously, the 3 ride still pretty good front end damage on his truck, as here comes Catania just rolling out of pit lane, heading down in towards corner number 1. Our race leader's heading down into corner number 3, so hopefully he can catch up to the tail end of the field here and hang with them and try to see if he can earn some stage points here to try to extend his points lead coming into tonight, as we'll get him stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Alrighty, it's Paul Ferdinandi getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. We use that inside lane. We'll have that 0-1 Arusa on in there to his back bumpers. We take a look back at Catania. Catania just coming out at corner number 4. Looks like he should be able to catch up with that lead back as he rolls into the tri-oval. As down and through the tri-oval into the Geico restart zone, we do get the green flag. Back out into the air. Here is our first restart of the day. Good jump there for the 44 run, but an even better run getting through the gears for that 135 133 of Ashley Elson Jr. is actually looking to try to take over the race lead. Not a lot of help to his back bumper as of right now, but here comes that 87 of John Herbert. Herbert getting right there as you see a big push coming to the rear end of the 0-0 of Nate Congdale. Does Congdale think about trying to make that 3 wide right here as you do see a little bit of squirreliness there. Oh, look out. I love potentially we were about to see another caution flag there as the 0-1 got down onto the apron. The 92 ride, luckily enough though for Clinton Woodby, able to roll out of the throttle and keep that truck rolling, as now you do see the 0-0 get pushed up the racetrack. He goes to the high side there in corner number 4. Unfortunately will fall back as the 2 ride of Daniel Dow shoves his way up and into that 3rd spot on the outside lane. Now they're trying to get the outside lane rolling as Paul Ferdinandi continues to lead the way here in that 44 ride. Trying to play spoiler here to some of our points players here on the evening. Obviously, so is in the 133 of Ashley Elson Jr., John Herbert. They're trying to steal some extra stage points away from some of these playoff drivers. But for the 0-1 of Rousseron and the 92 of Clinton Woodby, they're trying to earn some stage points here this evening, but so isn't Colton Hardy, Daniel Dow. They want to jump up there and earn some stage points here this evening, as well as they're trying to work themselves right into this battle, right into the hunt here towards the front, as each and every driver hoping to see potentially that green and white checkered flag first, trying to earn themselves a big stage win here this evening. Let's see if we can take a look here at our point standings here as we're rolling. It may be a little small. We'll have to take a look at that, but there is our point standing, so you can see kind of where these drivers are running and where the points are. So for Catania, getting tied up in that first wreck of the day, sliding him backwards here. He's trying to battle back. Same with Caleb Kleiner. So the top 5 out of these 10 drivers will advance into our feature event in just another week. This is the final elimination race. This is our penultimate race of the season. 5 drivers will be eliminated, and I do believe 5 drivers will move on and duke it out here for that championship. So for right now, Caleb Kleiner on the outside looking in here, and obviously we see a couple of those other drivers like Daniel Dow, Michael Madden. They want to earn themselves some stage points here, knowing that those could be a huge difference maker between making it into the playoffs or missing out here this evening. Obviously, Matt Hayden's looking for some. You see Clinton Woodby up there, and unfortunately for Matthew Catania, kind of stuck a little farther back as our stage quickly coming to a close here in this one. Is Mr. Hardy coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook as well. How are you, Hardy? Coming in, showing the love over there on FB. Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Monday. It's some great racing action again here with the Metalheads Truck Series, as everyone trying to figure out a way to get to the front. Everyone trying to figure out a way to try to win stage number 1 here this evening, as the 44 rider Paul Ferdinand, he looks to continue to lead this race. Ferdinand having himself an absolutely amazing run here this evening, is down across the line. They'll click off another lap as they're now 3 wide here at the front of the field. 3 wide racing here at Talladega Super Speedway, and it looks like the 2 ride of Daniel Dow will get a good enough shove to jump down into that middle groove. He'll slide in front of the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. Is now the inside lane going to lose a car here. We see the 97 ride of Colton Hardy. Looks like he's going to jump down to the apron. He falls to the back of the pack. He must feel that something is brewing up here that he does not like. Decides to bail out of it to try to make sure that he does not get tore up and tied up in an early race incident, as the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby continues to lead this race. Now the 2 machine of Daniel Dow onto his back bumper. Here comes Rooster Rodden there to the middle groove, and here comes the outside lane as Nathan Nixon trying to poke his nose right back into that battle in that outside lane. As we get down to the nitty-gritty here, not a lot of laps left here. 2 laps left to go here in stage number 1 this evening. Will they make it to the checkered flag, or will there be a caution flag before the end of this stage, as they are giving it everything they got? For a lot of our playoff drivers, they know that this could be their last opportunity to potentially gain some extra points here and potentially work themselves into the championship race next Monday night. So they're trying to get every point they can, knowing that these stage points are going to be massive, especially for Clinton Woodby, as it would virtually put him into position number 1 going into this final stage of this race. Is down across the line, they will click off lap number 19, and that means we only have about 1 lap left to go here. 1 lap left here in stage number 1, the completion of lap number 20. Next time by the start finish line will be the end of this stage, and as of right now, the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby continuing to lead this race. The 5 ride of Matt Hayden sticking right there with them. Daniel Dow just back in that 4th, 5th position here. Dow desperately looking for some stage points here. So is in that 0-1 of Rooster Ron, and can he get that outside groove, that 3rd lane rolling again down in through the tri-oval as they will drag race back to the start-finish line. Paul Ferdinand on the outside looks like he'll get shoved up the racetrack. Here comes Daniel Dow, but down across the line, it is the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Woodby will pick up stage win number 1 here this evening. So he wins the only stage of this race. Daniel Dow, I do believe, will get second over that 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Hayden will be back in second. We'll see how iRacing scores those two, because they may flip-flop. Ashley Olsen Jr. and Joe Bennett right there as well as Paul Ferdinand. He looks like Paul's going to maybe show his displeasure. Obviously a bit of a shove there by the 2 ride, pushed him up the racetrack and almost moved him right out of the way, as here we go, he's going to fall back. Obviously, Daniel Dow saw it coming, jumped up, made sure that he wasn't going to catch him there, as Paul may not be very happy with how he was pushed up the track there and out of the way, so that way Daniel Dow could earn himself an extra point or 2 there in that stage, as Dow will come home in second here. Big run there for Daniel Dow, big run for Clinton Woodby and Matt Hayden, as that's going to give all 3 of them some very valuable stage points, as Joe Bennett back in 4th and Ashley Olsen Jr. in 5th are not a part of our playoffs right now. So for Woodby, Dow, and Hayden, I do believe it's 5 points for Woodby, 4 points for Dow, and 3 points, I do believe, for Matt Hayden here. Those are big points when you take another look at those point standings, knowing that our top 10, our championship drivers that are still rolling out there, every single point is going to be so valuable here this evening. So we take a look here at these point standings. Matthew Catania, our points leader coming into this race, unfortunately did not receive any stage points right there. For Clinton Woodby, I do believe getting the max points there. I do believe it's 5 points. Maybe it's 10. I'm not 100% sure what the points are for the stage win, but I do know that for Clinton Woodby, earning those points probably leapfrogged him in front of Matthew Catania, moving Catania probably back into position number 2 here in the point standings, maybe even back into position number 3, as Matt Hayden earned some good points. Obviously, Daniel Dow earned some solid stage points, coming home second there in that stage. So he was on that cut line. He was that 5th place driver, obviously able to earn those stage points, moves him a little farther away from Caleb Kleinert and a little closer to potentially, getting his way into our championship race next Monday. Michael Madden, no stage points there, so he will still have about a 4-point gap between himself and Caleb Kleinert going in to this final stage of this feature event. As Mark Jackie Miller says, pretty rough there at the end of the stage. Hey, Shelby, yeah, a little bit rough there, a little bit rough. Obviously, a lot of beating and banging, a lot of great pushing there. That's Talladega, though, for you. Obviously, everyone's trying to get everything they can, especially those playoff drivers not wanting to give up any points, and a lot of them trying to earn as many points as possible out there on the speedway, and it makes things that much more difficult here, especially for the drivers that are the non-playoff drivers out there on the speedway, as you kind of just try to get yourself through it. You're trying to battle here as hard as you can, but at the end of the day, when it comes to those playoff drivers, they may use and abuse you a little bit more, knowing that you are not a playoff competitor, and a lot of times we'll see those guys maybe be a little bit more courteous, they'll move out of the way, especially when it comes to stage points for the race win. I could see them definitely duking it out a whole lot more, but right there, obviously, 3 of them able to push their way up to the front, make some big moves, and earn those top 3 stage points here in our one and only stage on the day. As we do see everyone come down pit road, everyone's going to get fuel. I don't know if everyone's going to get tires. Tires probably not going to be a hot commodity here at Talladega, but I'm sure some of them may throw some tires onto their rides. We do see Jesse Calloway, Nate Cogdell, Keith Prince still trying to get some damage repaired to that number 3 ride. Michael Newman also down pit side, just trying to make sure that this truck is absolutely perfect, ready to go here as we'll get ready now for our final run of the evening. Here in our penultimate race of the night, man, this is going to get very, very fun as we should go back to green flag racing with about, I'm going to say 70 laps left to go. That's a long time. That's a lot of laps. There's a lot of time for things to go right, a lot of time for things to go wrong out there on the speedway. If you get tied up in an incident, you get a tore up race truck, you got to use that quick repair early on. Obviously, you're not going to have that in the back of your pocket for later in this race. So a lot of these drivers are just in that survival game plan right now. Be there at the end. It's the only way you can win this race. If you're parked down pit road for multiple laps or potentially back behind pit wall before we even hit lap number 70 here this evening, then you're not going to have a chance at all to win this race. So you just got to keep yourself in it, and sometimes playing it a little bit safer can be the best way to potentially win or put yourself into a winning position. As we do see Paul Ferdinandi coming back down pit road. Here comes Ash Elson Jr., Caleb Kleinert also coming back down pit road. Matthew Catania, he's got that truck pretty much fixed up now. The crew has went to work and they've got some good damage repair done to it. Looks like his truck is rolling nicely as he'll roll back out onto the speedway. We do see Congdell rejoining the field. Here comes Jesse Calloway, Keith Prince as well. I do believe Keith Prince may end up back down pit road. Still obviously missing that left front fender. Definitely wants to get that fixed up. Definitely wants to get this truck back into one piece and rolling back out there onto the speedways. Out in front, it is Daniel Dow. Dow with the race lead. He'll have his teammate Nathan Nixon restarting right there on his back bumper. As the 05 of Joe Bennett will lead the outside lane back to the green flag as he's in position number 2. He'll have the 92 of Clinton Woodby back there behind him as we do see Matt Hayden in that 5th position in the Eagle 1 Valvoline number 5 ride. To his outside the 01, it's Rooster Ronin. John Herbert and Kevin Winker back there in row number 4, and then we see the number 33 of Mr. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back there in 9th. To his outside will be the 97 of Colton Hardy. And then we see the 15 of Michael Madden, the 12 ride of Michael Newman, and then we see Jesse Calloway, Caleb Kleinert, Paul Ferdinandi, Matthew Catania back there in 16th, Ash Elson Jr., Nate Cogdell, Keith Prince rounding out our field back there in the number 3 machine as he'll try to get that Death Awareness Month number 3 right up to the front of the field here. Obviously still got that damage, hoping to get that repaired and hoping to be able to get back out and into the action now. It's going to definitely slow him down a little bit, and obviously now with a slower pit stop here, you see the pace car make the hard left-hand turn back down pit road for Keith Prince. He is not with that lead back. He is still rolling down the back straightaways. Our race leaders are about to get the green flag. Unfortunately, he is more than likely going to lose the draft here in this race, and that is a tough place to be. Either needs a quick caution flag or potentially a caution flag after 10-15 laps before he goes a lap down out there on the speedway. As Daniel Dow gets the green flag, and here we go back to battle as 24 laps completed. It will be a 71 lap shootout here to our checkered flag here this evening as our final race before the championship race getting underway here, and this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be interesting to really see how all the points shape up, where everyone is at the end of this feature event. As you see the 2 rider Dow able to lead us down the back straightaway, but here comes that 05 of Bennett there to his outside. Colton Hardy's working his way up there. Here comes K-Dub trying to work his way back up towards the front. We did see Matt Hayden bail out of it here. Hayden kind of gets off the throttle, slides back deeper in the pack here. Looks like he may just be trying to play it safe here again. He was able to jump up, race his way up there to earn some stage points, but for most of that first stage, he was just kind of hanging out towards this back to middle of the pack here, just knowing that he's on the outside of some of the carnage, that if he does see something happen in front of him, he'll have enough time to get checked up and, you know, roll out of the throttle, not get tore up out there on the speedway. I think that's the game plan, again, for that 5 run is just to kind of hang out here, not lose the draft, be close enough that he hangs on to it, and not put himself into a position that he could get tore up out there on the racetrack too early in this race. As here we go, we do see Caleb Kleinert and Catania. They're hooked up here, trying to use the second lane, trying to race their way up towards the front once again. Ashley Ellison Jr. trying to go with them there as the Logitech number 133 ride rolls back there in that 16th position. Unfortunately, not looking like he's going to stick with his teammates as here comes Kleiner trying to still work that third lane out on the racetrack. Looks like they're going to make the move around the 15 of Michael Madden. Unfortunately, is going to fall back here a little bit more as well. So maybe some more strategy out of that 15 ride. Obviously, for a driver, that's going to be probably the closest to that cut line here going into this final runs of the evening and of his potential season. Definitely a tough spot to be. So you see K-Dub jump back up to the outside lane. They're trying to get Jesse Galloway and that 97 rider Colton Hardy rolling up towards the front of the pack. Here is the 0-1. Rooster Rodden able to take over the race. Lead here as we saw Rooster, John Herbert, and that 0-5 rider John Bennett able to get down to the inside groove here. And they are now leading that inside pack out on the racetrack as the 97 of Colton Hardy trying to battle back, trying to bounce up towards the front of the pack here. He is a driver that is deep in this field, desperately needs some major points here this evening. Not only potentially a win, but trying to hope that maybe a few of these other competitors back be in front of him in the point standings has some issues and potentially fall outside of the top 5 and open up the door for him to potentially jump in and into that championship race next Monday. As Rooster Rodden, Colton Hardy, door to door, it's John Herbert and Jesse Galloway back there in row number 2. Joe Bennett and Kevin Winker there in row 3. Now you see Daniel Dow and Caleb Kleinert there in row number 4 on their respective lines. Nathan Nixon and Matthew Catania there in position number 9 and 10 on the racetrack as Ashley Ellison Jr. trying to race his way up there. Here comes Paul Ferdinandi in the 44. Michael Newman back there in that 15. Nate Cogdell, Clinton Woodby, Michael Newman right there is Matt Hayden back in 17th. In 18th is Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. And as we talked about it, going to that green flag, unfortunately for Keith Prince, he was not with that lead group. And unfortunately for this number 3 ride, he is rolling out there all by himself. No one around him, no one to draft with. And unfortunately for this 3 ride, already with the damage and now with no drafting partners out there on the racetrack, he is running virtually about 5 seconds slower than that lead pack. So 5 seconds a lap that he's been giving up here to our race leaders, and that is a lot of time. That is a lot of laps to be giving up out there, and unfortunately he may go down a lap here in a quick hurry. Now the good news is that he would be the one and only driver a lap down out there on the racetrack. So if he does go a lap down, we see another caution flag. He will be in line for that lucky dog to try to get that lap back and back into the lead action here again this evening. But hey, we may not even see a caution flag, but we may see a yellow before he goes a lap down here, or we may not see a single yellow for the rest of this race. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see how this kind of plays out. Who's going to have the winning strategy? Who's going to have the winning truck and park themselves up and in to the Metalhead Truck Series victory lane here this evening as Rooster Rodden down and through the tri-oval here at Talladega Super Speedway. The 0-1 back down across the line. We'll click off another lap. We are now 30 laps completed, 65 laps left to go here in this race. Man, it's going to click off here in a quick hurry. I think as we got everyone kind of rolling here, obviously things really haven't calmed down. I thought maybe we'd see some more single file action out there. Drivers just trying to play it maybe a little bit safer, make it a little bit easier, and just have the odd cars trying to jump up and make that outside lane work. But it seems like The outside lane really working well here this evening, and these guys are rolling it pretty nicely. Even though they're slacking on some cars, they're starting to gain some more here and there. A couple drivers jump up and try to help that outside lane out, as you do see the 15 of Michael Madden. He's using that outside groove. You see the 0-0 right at Nate Cogdell. He jumps up there. He's trying to put himself up towards the front of the pack, as each and every one of these drivers, whether or not they're a part of the playoffs, knowing how big this win is and how much the points are going to matter in this race, or a non-playoff driver. When you look up there and you look at some of the drivers like John Herbert, you look at Joe Bennett, Jesse Callaway, Kevin Winker, you know, even Nathan Nixon up there, Ashley Elson Jr., a lot of these drivers, as we do see some contact right there. Looks like the four-ride potentially kind of getting bent out of shape. That was Jesse Callaway, and unfortunately for Callaway, I'm not sure if he blinked a little bit right there, or maybe just got some contact, making a move. See if we can play this back and take another look at it. So take a look. Rolling the outside lane, the four-ride. Looks like he's going to get a bump here from Kevin Winker. They kind of just get a little log jammed right there. So he's getting into the back end of the 97. And then the 42 ride of Kevin Winker getting into his tail end here. It just kind of gets the four-ride a little bent out of shape here, kind of shoves him right down the racetrack. He bounces kind of in and through the 87 and the 5 machine. Now, that's a great break here for all three of those drivers, because that could have been a whole lot worse. I think for a lot of the drivers back behind him, when you look at Catania, you look at Caleb Kleinert, some of these guys that would have been right in the disaster line if the 05, if the 87, or any of these guys may have went a round. It could have definitely ruined their night in a quick hurry. Now, luckily enough, they're able to keep it clean and green. Callaway's able to hang on to it. Luckily enough, that connection blinked there for him, going kind of through the car and not into one of those other cars. I just saved the field right there. Is out in front. It is this 01 machine. Is out in front. The very beautiful Metalheads Truck Series machine of Rooster Ron continues to lead this feature event. He is out in front, continuing to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Is now, here you go, second lane, starting to get rolling once again. It is that number 97 ride of Colton Hardy, who jumps up in front of Caleb Kleinert and Matthew Catania, hoping that he can get a shove here by these guys, work his way up into the point here this evening, as you do see the 3 ride. Unfortunately, Keith Prince right there. Prince is going to go a lap down right there, so it's a tough break for that number 3 ride of Keith Prince. And right now, he's just going to try to get the draft here off these guys. He's going to try to hang on to this draft as much as possible, build up that speed, hang with this pack, and then if there is another caution flag, he would be in line for the lucky dog and could get the wave around back onto the lead lap here this evening. Just needs to keep himself into trouble, make sure that he does not lose that draft, and keeps on battling here on the racing surface, as he'll look to try to rebound from going a lap down here early in this race. As the outside lane continue to work well, as you do see Catania moves down to the inside. Caleb Kleiner, though, on the outside, does not shoot down low in time to go with his teammate, and it is Catania who will take over the race lead here. So Matthew Catania did not take him much longer, but he's worked his way into the point here this evening as the 318 ride down through the tri-oval. His teammate in the number 196 of Caleb Kleiner tries to hunt him down. Both these drivers know that they want to be able to lead some laps, keep themselves out in front, and hope that they can come home with a good, solid run and lock not only just that 318 right of Matthew Catania potentially into the playoffs, but also try to lock in that 196 of Caleb Kleinert to head to our Championship 5 next Monday. As Caleb Kleinert still out in front, still leading this feature event. Catania right there with them as they are door to door, virtually blocking both lines out there on the speedway, making things tough and wide here for anyone to try to get around them. We'll have to wait and see if we see, you know, maybe Kevin Winker jump up to the outside lane. Maybe you can get Jesse Callaway to go with him. Obviously, Ashley Elson Jr. is going to go with his teammate there, as you do see the 97 rider, Colton Hardy. Hardy jumps up into the outside group. He does not want to follow in behind of our race leader here this evening, as he looks to get back around Matthew Catania here today. Rooster Rodden unfortunately stuck right there. We'll see if he can maybe clear that 97 line down at corner number 2 if he decides to jump up there and use the outside groove to his own accord here this evening, but it does not look like the opportunity will present itself. So they all push 2 wide, almost 3 wide there, a little deeper in the pack as you do see some big moves here. And there you go, the 196 of Caleb Kleinert finally gets an open lane, jumps down low in front of his teammate Matthew Catania, and now it's the CCR Esports rides here at the front of the field, 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack as Colton Hardy in the 42 of Kevin Winker still trying to revitalize that outside lane here. They kind of got a little decimated there for a couple laps, but it looks like things are starting to build back up as Colton Hardy looks to the outside here of Caleb Kleinert for position number 1 out there on the racetrack. Because all these drivers doing an absolutely fantastic job here this evening. Some great racing here tonight by all of these Metalhead Truck Series drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't done so already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit that like button on the stream, hit that share button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button for us right mother fluffing now so you guys can enjoy even more amazing racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming as the 196 of Caleb Kleinert has the race lead. This is exactly where he wants to be, knowing that he is on the outside of our Championship 5, looking in, knowing that he wants to be able to punch his ticket and be a part of that championship race here next Monday. Is everyone wanting to be a part of that championship? Everyone wants to try to win our championship, here this year. Everyone is looking for that championship win. Unfortunately, one driver can claim that crown, and for a lot of these drivers, obviously 5 will get eliminated here from our playoffs tonight. 5 more drivers will move on into our championship race next week at Las Vegas. And Las Vegas, man, that's a fun track to go to for a series finale. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see kind of some of the strategy that gets played out there. It could become a fuel mileage game plan, or it could be a bunch of caution flags and could really mix things up, just trying to keep yourself out of all the chaos out there in Sin City. So we'll have to wait and see who our championship 5 will be and how they feel about heading in to that championship race at Las Vegas here in 1 week's time. It's just before the end of September, back on the 29th of September. Next Monday is when our championship race will be held, and you guys do not want to miss that one, as it's going to be a ton of fun. As Rooster Rodden back out in front, leading the way here once again. Colton Hardy there in position number 2. Caleb Kleinert and Catania back in 3rd and 4th as they continue to roll that inside lane. You see Kevin Winker, K-Dub, trying to get that outside groove rolling. Here is the 133 of Ashley Elson Jr. working that outside lane. Now, if your teammates of the 318 and the 196 ride, what's the game plan here? Do you try to get your teammate in the 133 to maybe slow down Kevin Winker, not try to push him to the front of the field, as that may make it a little bit tougher for them to try to get that track position back, a little bit tougher for them to try to get back out in front of this pack, as we're going to be inching here quickly into potential green flag pit stops here. Green flag pit stops could be on the horizon for a lot of these drivers. A lot of these cats came down pit road there after that first stage break. So that was a 22-lap run, but they did see a caution flag there or two. So they did end up getting a couple opportunities to save a little bit of fuel, but I'm assuming we're probably going to see somewhere right around that same, probably around that 22-lap marker, maybe 23 if they can stretch it that far, which really makes things interesting, knowing that virtually they'll have to try to do the same thing plus maybe a little bit more here in that final stage. It's looking like final stage will also have to be probably another 23, 24 lap run just to be able to try to get to the end of this race. And that could be the big difference maker, are those pit road speeding penalties, the pit road mistakes that can take a good day and turn it bad in a heartbeat, as you do see Ashley Elson Jr. Look out, Ashley going for a bit of a slide here, and they're going to make contact. Look out, Rooster Rodden around, and he's going to smoke the 2 right of Daniel Dow. Dow with heavy left front damage here as Ashley Elson Jr. pushing Kevin Winker up towards the front here, and it's going to cost potentially our first big one of the day. So let's take a look at it. So K-Dub getting a great run here down the back straightaway. He's going to end up making a move here down to the inside groove, and looks like Ash Elson Jr. going to give him a shove to get there. And now here comes Winker down to the infield. 133 tries to go with him right here. Unfortunately for Rooster Rodden just kind of in the wrong place, wrong time. As the 133 comes down over his nose, he's going to have the 97 rider Colton Hardy getting to the back end of him. And you see the 133 trying to correct it. Unfortunately, comes back up the track, clips that number 3 ride of Keith Prince. Keith going to come back down the track into the 0-1 rider Rooster Rodden almost goes airborne right there, almost gets upside down. And unfortunately, as he continues to spin around, he's going to come back up the racetrack right here and nowhere to go for Daniel Dow. Dow just tries to get up to the outside fence to avoid it. Unfortunately, nowhere for him to go. Big contact there. Heavy damage for him. Looks like some pretty good damage here as well for the 40 ride as he'll get a piece of that one. Good damage for Nathan Nixon and a lot of these other drivers just trying to dodge it, trying to keep themselves out of it, as a bunch of these guys are going to be able to get checked up and slow down without making any contact or getting tore up out there on the racetrack. Take a look here at the number. I want to see the 196 of Caleb Kleiner of the 318 of Matthew Catanias. They're going to make some big moves here. They kind of see this one happening. They see the moves starting to happen, and they're able to get off the gas pedal here, even for Colton Hardy right here. Luckily enough, just down low, far enough that they do not get collected. They do not get clipped into it. They're able to keep on going here. No incident, no damage there for them. And unfortunately for Daniel Dow, big contact. John Herbert got a bit of contact into that one. A few tore up race cars, but this is kind of perfect timing, as that will put us at the, right virtually at their pit strategy, their pit window here. So eliminating a green flag pit stop virtually for a majority of these drivers, as they will head down pit side. Obviously, some of them will look for some repairs. Others will look to just try to get that fuel, maybe some tires, maybe try to leapfrog everyone and jump out in front, as Daniel Dow will hit his pit box here. Crew's going to go to work. He's got a lot of damage that they need to try to get repaired here and hope to get this truck back into one piece. And it looks like he will have to use that quick repair here in the mid-half of this race to make sure that he can continue here this evening. And now the tough break about using that quick repair this early in the race is that you don't have it for late in the race. You get tied up in another incident like that, you get tore up again, even though it's no fault of his own. The car goes around, takes out a bunch of cars in front of you. You end up with one on your hood, or you end up on your hood and car is half destroyed. Unfortunately, you may have to be sitting down pit side for an extended period of time before you're even able to roll back out there onto the speedway. So having that quick repair back in your pocket for late in the race is a must-have for a lot of these drivers. As K-Dub, Kevin Winker, first off pit road, and for the 42 ride, will have the race lead. Caleb Kleiner back there in second. Matthew Catania in third. Nate Cogdell there in fourth, with Colton Hardy rounding out our top five. John Herbert there in the sixth position. We'll have Nathan Nixon, Clinton Woodby, John Herbert there in position number 9. Ashley Olsen Jr., who got tied up, tore up, and turned around there to bring that caution flag out, rolls in 10th, with Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Rooster Rodden back there in 12th. Michael Madden, Matt Hayden, Daniel Dow there in 15th, with Jesse Calloway, Michael Newman, Keith Prince, and Paul Ferdinandi bringing up the rear of the field. As unfortunately for Keith Prince, he was trying to get that damage repaired, trying to get this truck fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack with minimal damage late in this race. Unfortunately, he's going to get more contact here and more damage onto that left front during that caution flag, or during that wreck there. And unfortunately for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride, tough break for him out there on the speedway. And I do believe for Paul Ferdinandi was running out there on the racetrack and had ran almost 40 laps of this race, and it looked like potentially lost connection to the server. It looks like he has now rejoined the server, so he rolls back out onto the racetrack. I do believe this will complete lap number 40 for him, but I do believe he is 4 laps down. That is a tough place for him to be out there on the speedway. 4 laps down out there on the racetrack. I do believe Keith Prince also at least a lap down out there on the speedway here this evening. So for Keith, also going down pit road, does not get that lucky dog, will not get that wave around, and will stay trapped a lap down. So a tough break for both Keith Prince and for that 44 ride, having himself such a good run here early on in this race. For Paul Ferdinandi, that's a tough spot to be now. Multiple laps down and just rolling back out onto the racetrack, as We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. It is Kevin Winker, K-Dub, is our race leader. Looks like he's going to elect to use the outside lane as he will have his Sonic graphic designs teammate there behind him as the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell in that Revco Electrical Paper Cups 0-0 ride. Going to get ready to go back to battle, going to get ready to duke it out here once again, see if he can push that Muleburger Custom Homes Sonic graphic designs, that beautiful Winker Nation ride up and into the top spot here once again this evening as Catania looking to push his teammate Caleb Kleiner to the point here tonight, knowing that both these drivers desperately need a good point stake to try to work both of them into our playoffs here this evening. For the 97 of Colton Hardy, Hardy came in with the toughest challenge here. He was quite a ways behind that cut line, and unfortunately, needs a lot of other drivers to have some issues for him to even have a chance at potentially trying to, work his way into the playoffs here this season. So for the 97, he's going to have a lot of things go his way and a great break and maybe a race win to try to lock himself in here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how that gets played out as here we go. Back to green flag racing is down across the line. They will complete 45 laps of racing action here this evening. So 45 laps down, 50 laps left to go here of our 95 lap feature event. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty as Caster plays. What's good, Caster? Caster coming in showing the love, says, what's up? What's up, buddy? How are you, mister? How you doing this evening? Coming in showing the love here in this one as K-Dub says self-clear, laughing loud. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a self-clear right there as Eric Hardy says, shoo, got me sweating, he says. Oh, baby, I think all these drivers are sweating, especially all of our playoff drivers, man. They are on their tippy toes. They're on the edge of their seats just trying to keep themselves out of trouble as Gaster Place is about to redo iRacing sub. Let's go, baby. That's what's up right there, Gaster. Heck yeah, brother. Heck yeah. Webcam's still broken. Yeah, unfortunately, webcam is still broken. I haven't been able to replace it yet. I've been looking online. I've been going through Amazon, and I thought about getting one from Walmart, but they're just so cruddy, and they just don't have great quality, so I don't really want to get one from Walmart. But, yeah, I just have not been able to find one yet, and I have not had time. I've been just busting my butt working every single day. I get home at like 6, 7 o'clock. Last thing I want to do is, move or go to town and try to get a webcam or anything else. My body's too sore, man. I don't even know what, 50 holes or something today for sonotubes and concrete tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be mixing almost 200 bags of concrete. So, yeah, sore is the minimum, man. Sore is the minimum. For a Monday, that's a lot of hard work right there, man. That's a lot of digging. We did have a tractor there with an auger on it, but unfortunately it does not do very good, and it was all rock that we are digging into, so pretty much had to hand dig all like 50 holes today. Definitely not easy. Definitely not easy, as Eric says, slicing and dicing, baby. Slicing and dicing. That is right, as we do see Colton Hardy work his way to the point here this evening as Hardy now trying to work his way out in front, but the outside lane getting a great run down into corner number 3. Going to push Joe Bennett back to the point here as the 0-1 a Rooster on and trying to work that 0-5 to the point here this evening. You see the 4 right of Jesse Callaway right there as well, as now here comes Clinton Woodby. Woodby trying to work his way into the battle up at the front. Here comes that 196 of Caleb Kleiner. Matthew Catania trying to work their way back there. Here comes K-Dub, Kevin Winker, looking to try to get that third lane rolling again here. He didn't mind that 3-wide racing, and he knows that he's going to kind of almost run a different area on the racetrack. If he wants to be able to get a run to get to the front here, he may have to try to make something else happen to try to jump up there and work that third lane here on the speedway, or he may be stuck kind of just back in about that 10th, 11th position out there on the racetrack. Daniel Dow, after getting that quick repair, has gotten that 2-ride kind of fixed back up, so he has used that quick repair. It is back into one piece, but he's got to be very, very cautious now if he gets tied up in another big wreck, if he gets any major damage that could be catastrophic to his night, that could take him out of this race. And for one of our drivers that's right there at that cut line, could potentially take him out of running for our Championship 5 here next Monday. It could take you instantly from being one of our playoff advancers into one of our eliminated playoff drivers after tonight's feature event if you run into another issue and you don't have that quick repair still in your back pocket. As Colton knows that he really needs to find a big run. He needs to have a great race to try to work his way into the playoff picture here to continue his championship dreams this afternoon as the winning bid QH Designs number 97 ride going to get a good shove here from that 0-0 of Rooster on and in. It seems like Rooster definitely is a great pusher out there on the racetrack. If you're running late in the race, to have that 0-1 ride in your rearview mirror may be the best thing possible, but you gotta keep in mind that the 0-1 is also another driver that is a part of these playoffs, and he won't be scared to make a move and push you out of the way. As there it goes, gonna jump down to the inside, moves the 97 to Colton Hardy up and into that third lane out there on the speedway, and unfortunately not a whole lot of help there for them. They will slide backwards. Looks like they'll probably try to get in line in behind this 44 ride of Paul Ferdinandi. There goes the 97. Here comes that 4 machine. Will they look to go 3 wide here? No, does not look like they will go 3 wide down in through corner number 3 and 4. So they'll go back to double file out there on the racetrack. Is down and across the line. They will complete lap number 51 here this evening. 51 laps done and gone here tonight. So 51 laps of racing action off the board here this evening, man, and we're getting down to it. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The laps are continuing to disappear in a quick hurry, and for a lot of these drivers, you just really got to try to keep yourself in a good position, keep yourself in this race, and not making a mistake out there on the speedway to potentially, get tore up, get wrecked, put yourself into a spot where you cannot finish this race, and that is not a spot you want to be as we continue to see these guys pushing back and forth, each and every one of them trying to work themselves to the front here. Sometimes being at the front of the field can be the safest place, but also sometimes being at the front of the field can be the most treacherous position. We saw that pass there for position number 2 virtually on the racetrack as the 133 of Ashley Ellison trying to clear that inside lane. We saw Kevin Winker go down there. He was clear of them. The 133 trying to follow him through was not clear just by an inch or two. It got him bent out of shape, got him all stacked up, and unfortunately destroyed a lot of race trucks. And now we do see Ashley Ellison Jr. going a lap down here as Ashley was not with that lead pack, and unfortunately the 133 now a lap down, and I do believe potentially Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. could be the next driver to lose a lap here as well. Jimmy does not have that lead pack. He's continuing to fall farther and farther behind. He's running about 5 seconds slower than that lead pack, so they are catching up to him in a quick hurry as they are less than half a track away from potentially putting him a lap down here this evening as well. As of right now, though, everyone's still battling. Here we go. We see 3 wide once again as K-Dub up on the high side. The third lane rolling here for Kevin Winker, Colton Hardy, and the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell. 3 of the Sonic Graphic Designs rides up there on the outside groove, trying to work their way up towards the front of the field. We'll see if they get any extra help here, if anyone decides to jump up there and go with them, or if they think maybe it's a little too early, maybe it's not time yet to start to make these crazy moves and try to go 3 wide, 4 wide out there on the racetrack. Maybe you just gotta kind of settle in here. There's a lot of laps left to go. If we can run another 20 laps, maybe 30 laps before our checkered flag, maybe that would be the time to start to put a move on. It's down across the line. They will click off lap number 54. I do believe that is, 41 laps left to go here in this race. So 41 laps left to go here. There is still a lot of time. There is still a lot of time to make your way to the front. Still a lot of time to fall back. Still a lot of question marks out there on the racetrack on, what is going to be the best time to make your way down pit road. Do you think it's, just before, everyone else? Do you try to find a bunch of guys that you can trust to go down with you, all make a game plan to come down pit road on a certain lap that, maybe brings into the picture that you only have to make one more pit stop after this? As I do believe everyone will probably have to make at least 2 more pit stops here tonight. They'll have to come down pit road sometime around lap number, I'm going to say 63, lap 65, somewhere in that area. They might be able to push it to lap 66, but then again, I think they're only going to be able to get that 22, 23 lap run to a tank of fuel for that final run, which would put them about 8 laps shy of fuel here to finish this race, maybe even 10 laps shy. It'll be somewhere close to that. So I think a lot of these drivers are going to have to plan to make 2 green flag pit stops here before this checkered flag. Binding, we don't see another yellow flag or 2 out there on the speedway that could open up the door to make those pit stops, not green flag pit stops, but doing it during the caution flag. As out in front, we do see Joe Bennett just in front of Caleb Kleinert and that 318 of Matthew Catania. You do see the 0-1 rider Rooster on, and Rooster's been just having himself a solid day here at the speedway, even after that contact going around and getting some pretty solid damage there himself as he rolled up the racetrack and made big contact with a couple drivers. Now we see him get a little bent out of shape. I do believe that's going to shove Colton Hardy just ever so slightly into that outside fence, as I don't think the 0-1 machine realized that they were 3, almost 4 wide there, down through 1 and 2, and that really may have caused a bunch of damage to a couple of these drivers. We'll have to wait and see as Caleb Kleinert makes the move, jumps in front, now has the race lead with Roosteronen right there behind him. Clinton would be back there in third. The 0-5 ride of Joe Bennett, the 44, Paul Ferdinand, he's up there battling. Unfortunately for Paul, he's multiple laps down, but he's shown that he's got a very, very fast truck, potentially even a race-winning truck here this evening. Unfortunately for Paul, lost connection to the server, had to leave the session, come back in. By the time he did, he had lost, I do believe, about 4 laps, and unfortunately, there's still a couple of drivers that are going to get waiver rounds before he will, and I don't think he'll be able to really get any of those 4 laps back out there on the speedway. Heartbreaker there for him. As here we go, we do see the 3 ride. Oh man, tough break for Keith Prince. Looks like Keith going to lose another lap out there on the racetrack. So now Keith Prince 2 laps down out there on the speedway as our lead pack gonna stroll right on around him. And for Keith Prince now 2 laps down out there on the speedway. For Ashley Elson Jr. still first car 1 lap down, but it may not be for long. As here's that 33 ride of Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. Jimmy just down across the start finish line. Our race leaders are reeling in right behind him. They may meet him here either down through 1 and 2 or potentially down the back straightaway. Now down the back straightaway would be the best time, as you do see him move up the track here. Looks like he's just trying to keep himself up and in that third lane. Going to let these drivers get around him here. Does not want to have an issue and cause a problem out there on the racetrack, as everyone going to slide down low into that first and second lane. Allow that 33 just to move farther back. And unfortunately, now for that 33 of Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., he will go a lap down. So Jimmy is now the first car a lap down for a couple seconds here. He's door to door with the other car a lap down, the 133. So it's between the 33 and the 133 now as a drag race here for the Lucky Dog out there on the racetrack. If a caution flag were to fly, it's between one of those two to get their lap back, to get the Lucky Dog back on the lead lap here this evening. But if we don't see a caution flag, then we're going to have to see green flag pit stops come up here in a quick hurry. Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert continues to impress here. He got tied up in one of those yellows, got a little bit of tire damage, but really no major damage to the race truck here, and did not have to use a quick repair, so he still got one in his back pocket. I do believe for that 318 right at Catania, still has that in his back pocket, as well as the 92 at Clinton would be. So a lot of our playoff drivers that are either trying to stay locked in as one of our championship 5, or one of our drivers that are trying to leapfrog their way into that championship race here this evening, that are below that cut line, trying to work their way inside of our top 5 here for that championship race next week. You look at that, 196 of Caleb Kleinert, prime example right there, came in 2 points back of that cut line. Gave up a couple points there during that first stage, so he's probably about 4 points or so outside of potentially racing his way into the championship battle. Here he is, battling here at the front of the field, and the drivers that he's chasing, Daniel Dow, had to already use a quick repair here on the evening. So for Dow, if he gets up in another big wreck, he could potentially be out of this race. And you look a little farther back at the 15 ride of Michael Madden. Madden just trying to hang on to the tail end of the draft here, knowing that if he can just hang out right here, then potentially he could get the benefit of not being tied up or tore up out there and just make a late race charge, try to get to the front of the field and trying to make sure that he stays in front of that 196, tries to stay in front of the 0-1 ride, as Rooster Ronin and Caleb Kleinert will be looking to try to move themselves forward here in our point standings. The leapfrog, the 2 and the number 15 ride out there, and maybe even the 5 ride of Matt Hayden for the final couple playoff positions. As Rooster Ronin out in front, continue to lead the way here, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 4. We'll head back down the front straightaway here. Some great racing action. These guys have been putting on a hell of a show for us this evening, man. These guys have been putting on a great battle out there on the speedway. A lot of back and forth, a lot of passes, a lot of door-to-door action. As down across the line, they'll complete lap number 62 here this evening, and that's going to make this fuel run now roughly about 19 laps of action here. I do believe it'll be about 18 laps of green flag racing. So fuel mileage starting to come into play, potential green flag pit stops again on the horizon. We were getting ready to start to see some green flag pit stops as we got the caution flag down through corner number 3 and around lap number 42, 41, somewhere in there. That was roughly where we saw that yellow flag fly, but these drivers were a lap or 2 away from potentially heading down pit road and making their first wave of green flag pit stops. But now, with those pit stops done, they're rolling towards the next wave here. Is down across the line. They complete lap number 63, so this is virtually 20 laps since they put fuel into their race trucks, and really they had a lap or 2 of potential caution flag racing, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. As Diane says, stay top 10, Jesse Calloway. Cheering on Jesse out there here this evening. Jesse's been having a solid evening here in that Liquid Death number 4 machine. He's been up there at the front, led a couple laps early on. The 4 rides looked pretty decent, and being Talladega Super Speedway, you can kind of be patient. You can wait back here outside the top 10, outside the top 15, get a big run in the closing couple laps of this race. You can find yourself at the front of the field and potentially winning this thing. We've seen drivers come from very, very deep in the field, making final moves in the closing lap or 2 and making their way up and into the top spot here on the speedway. So there's still lots and lots of time to try to work your way up towards the front. You just got to find the right dancing partners, the right friends to potentially help push you into the victory here this evening. As here we go down the back straightaway. I think this is where we're going to start to see some drivers wanting to come down pit road, as now we're rolling into about that 22 lap area. So I think for a lot of these cats, green flag pit stops in the back of their mind, and now you really just want to get lined up with drivers that you trust. You do not want to come down as a 2-car pack, a 3-car pack, even a 4-car pack. Probably is not going to do that good. You want to come down, I feel, with like a bare minimum of at least, I'm going to say 6 to 7 cars. If you can kind of split this group up, maybe even take 8, 9 cars with you, leave 5 or 6 out there by themselves. If you can come out with numbers, be tight together, get organized as quick as possible, run single file, not double file, you could potentially pull out in front of the second group and have a very sizable lead that you could use to your advantage here later in this race, especially if things stay clean and green. Then being able to make that move, being able to make those laps and be able to kind of set some of these other guys back there with bad pit stops could potentially be the race-winning move. As here we go, Caleb Kleiner heads down pit road. Here comes a big group of cats all down pit side, and this is exactly what we talked about. You want to come in with numbers, and that's what we see as Rooster Ronin, Caleb Kleiner, Clinton Woodby, Matthew Catania, John Herbert, Colton Hardy, Nate Cogdell, Jesse Calloway, Matt Hayden and Michael Madden coming down pit road. The 33 ride right there as well. That's Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Ashley Ellison Jr., Keith Prince. They all come down pit road. Now they're all hoping that they can make these pit stops and leave pit road together. They're trying to make sure that these things get filled with fuel. You want to make sure you get 20 laps or so at least out of this tank. But as we take a look out front, it's virtually about a 4 or 5 car pack here. As you see, Daniel Dow, Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, the 44 ride of Paul Ferdinandi, and I do believe that is the 05 of Joe Herbert here, or Joe Bennett, all coming down pit road together. So this is about a 5-car pack. Now, they either want to come out with the race lead, or they need to hope that these guys back here are not organized as much. And they're coming out fairly organized, a little broken up right there, but we should see the 01 of Rooster Ron and catch up to that 196 pretty quickly. They're pretty organized, straight line here, rolling back out onto the racetrack. As you do take a look, Nate Cogdale, kind of the back car here of that pack, and right now, as they start to build up that speed, he may not be in the draft here, so he may be able to fall back to the other 5-car pack. We'll see where they kind of get lined up. Unfortunately for Michael Madden, he's kind of without drafting partners. Same with Michael Newman. Slower pit stop there for him. Slower pit stop for Ashley Ellison Jr., as they have no drafting help out there on the racetrack. The 33 ride, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., still in there as well, as here comes that other group. They're just starting to roll down through corner number 1 and 2, and unfortunately, we're going to see that first group that came down pit side with numbers come down the back straightaway with a big head of steam. They may be able to just blow right on by these guys and kind of leave them back there in the dust. We'll see how they kind of get cruising here, how much they kind of break up, and it looks like it's going to kind of get everyone a little bit squirrely right here as they go a little 2 wide, 3 wide, waiting for everyone else to catch up to them. Now we could see some big moves as you see the 196 ride trying to race his way through there. Big hit to the back end of Kevin Winker. That gives K-Dub a big launch right there. Unfortunately for Caleb Kleinert and the rest of these drivers, it really breaks things up as Kevin Winker now out in front. K-Dub has the race lead, but here we go. 2 rides going to leave him high and dry. Winker, I don't know if that damage affects him or not, but it shoots him down the racetrack. He gets out of the way, gets out of the groove right there, and unfortunately for that 42 machine, he's going to slide back. Now he needs to pick up this 33, hope to catch that draft and stay with these guys. You do not want to lose that draft, as again, they're 2 wide, a little 3 wide. There is John Herbert to the outside lane. As of right now, it looks to be about our top 11, potentially top 12 up here in this lead group if Kevin Winker can catch that draft and stick here with these lead cars this evening. Unfortunately, 6, almost 8 seconds back, you do see Nate Cogdale. Cogdale quite a ways back there. Michael Madden even farther back. If this thing stays clean and green, all these drivers are at risk of potentially going a lap down out there on the speedway, including Michael Newman and one of our points drivers here, one of the drivers that came in above the cut line, going a lap down here at Talladega, could potentially be game over, could take him out of contention to trying to win this race this evening, as he sits back in 14th. For Nate Cogdale sitting there in 13th. Not a fun spot to be, as you do see Winker looks like he is able to keep that draft there, able to just hang on to the tail end of that lead pack, trying to close the gap on him, trying to rejoin that pack, is out in front. Rooster Rodden and Daniel Dow trying to hold off Caleb Kleinert. That 318 of Matthew Catania and everybody else here this evening as they steamroll back down into the tri-oval here at Talladega Super Speedway. Back down across the line. They will complete lap number 70 out there on the speedway. So 70 laps completed, and I do believe it is 25 more laps left to go here in this race. 25 more laps left to duke it out as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here this evening. give it up for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session is down and across the line. It is 80 laps down, and now only 15 laps left to go here in our penultimate race of the season. Our penultimate race quickly coming to a close as we did see another wave of drivers make their way down pit side, including the number 2 of Daniel Dow. Dow came down pit road here with Nathan Nixon and Kevin Winker quite a bit early. They also came down pit side with Matthew Catania, and I do believe the number 196 ride potentially. No, I don't see the 196. Looks like Caleb Kleiner did not come down pit road with them. So Catania kind of came down with Winker, Dow, and Nixon. Unfortunately, now he is by himself, and for a driver that came into this race with the points lead, he's back in the 12th position and could quickly become a lap down car out there on the speedway, running virtually about 5 seconds slower than our race leaders. And right now our race leaders are heading down into corner number 1 and 2 for Catania. He's just in front of them. He could become a lap down here in a quick hurry, and that is definitely a tough spot for him. Now lucky break is that everyone that's still rolling here in this lead pack, they have to make another green flag pit stop at some point in time. But with them being such a big pack together, now kind of all getting organized, they're all running just nose to tail out there on the speedway. They are not running side by side, so they're running fairly quick lap times out there on the racetrack. And as of right now, they're going to be putting a lot of these guys farther and farther back there. So for Daniel Dow, Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, they just got to stay very tight together and keep running very fast lap times if they want to try to leapfrog or stay in the hunt here at the front of the field, and hope that maybe even a couple of these drivers that are in front of them may fall back to them, may try to help them out and join them here, as that is, I do believe, Nate Cogdell right there. I do believe Cogdell just trying to keep himself on the lead lap. Same with that 3 ride of Keith Prince. Prince, unfortunately, already a couple laps down. I do believe the 15 ride right there of Michael Madden. Madden already a lap down here himself, so he's going to want to try to keep himself still kind of in the hunt here this evening. He may want to fall back to this other 3-car pack, maybe try to pick up the other guys, as he needs some magic to happen here late in this race, especially now with the 318. Matthew Catania, as Catania goes a lap down himself here, unfortunately for that 318 machine. Being a lap down, being our points leader, stuck back in about that 14th position. It is not a fun place to be in. He's going to have to battle, I do believe, with Jimmy Fitzmaurice here for that lucky dog position. So Jimmy could jump up there, steal the lucky dog away from him. If we do see a caution flag fly, then he could work his way in front of him. But even though, as these guys come down pit road, that's going to leave that number 318 by himself again out there on the racetrack with no dancing partners. He may have the 0-1 or Rooster on. Unfortunately for Rooster, I believe his odds of potentially trying to win this race went out the window with that green flag pit stop, as he got caught speeding down pit road. So he got a pit road speeding penalty for that number 0-1 ride, and he is now fallen back, I do believe, 2 laps down. And this is a very tough spot now that we have about 4 drivers, 5 drivers that are a lap down out there on the racetrack. They only either need to get lucky dogs first or get wave arounds back on the lead lap before this 0-1 ride can even get one of his laps back here this evening. So he's going to have to look for some lucky breaks here, maybe get a wave around if another caution flag comes out in this race. We may see it stay clean and green here to the checkered flag is down and out at corner number 2. You see the 318. He's trying to get some shoves. He's trying to get some help here by a couple other lap down cars, as Michael Newman and the 133 of Ashley Elson Jr., who I believe is also 2 laps down, just trying to race their way out in front of this lead pack. If they can try to push their way to the front here, maybe that could potentially give them an opportunity here to maybe get a lap back here, maybe keep themselves in a good position if another caution flag does get displayed out there on the speedway for Kevin Winker, Nixon, Daniel Dow. They have caught up to this other 3-car pack, so they just need to get these guys kind of lined up as quickly as possible, try to roll with them and hope that they can try to help them here. But they've been running a lot faster lap times than all these other drivers out there on the speedway. For Daniel Dow, Nixon, and Kevin Winker, they've just been hooked up nose to tail here since they came down pit road and back out onto the racetrack, and they have been running almost 0.8 of a second quicker than our race leader. So they have been running very, very strong here. But now with the 0-0 ride, getting back to the outside here with Kevin Winker, that may slow them down just enough that they may start to lose a little bit of time here to that lead pack. So they need that 0-0 to work with them here. Jump in behind them, start to help them out, try to get this group to run a little bit quicker. As here we go, we see that lead pack now head down pit side. So here comes Jesse Calloway, Colton Hardy, Herbert, Joe Bennett, Clinton Woodby, Caleb Kleiner down pit road, as well as Matt Hayden. So our final group to potentially make their pit stops here is, I do believe Daniel Dow still has to come. No, I believe Dow's good. Nixon, Winker, they're good. Nate Cogdell, though, probably still has to make another trip down pit road here. Same with Michael Newman in the 12 ride as they kind of all stay together here, this little 4-car pack. I do believe the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. still has to make an additional pit stop. So does Keith Prince and a few of these other drivers. As we'll take a look and see where Dow and these guys kind of get lined up with the rest of these cars. It's here they come, rolling around the outside. Looks like they may steamroll their way out in front of the pack as there they go around Joe Bennett, and it is going to be Daniel Dow, Nathan Nixon, and Kevin Winker. Now 1, 2, and 3 here on the speedway. They are going to have a bit of a gap now between themselves and the fourth place driver, which will be Nate Cogdell. Cogdell now into fourth in that 0-0 machine, but he still has to make a pit stop here this evening for Joe Bennett. He's trying to hopefully catch that draft. He's hoping that all these other guys can get lined up as quick as possible and try to hunt down that lead group here as they're going to try to get lined up, try to get everyone in tow as the 196 of Caleb Kleiner desperately needs a big run. It's here comes Nate Cogdell down pit road by himself. You do see the 3 ride of Keith Prince down pit side as well. Too fast entering, will get a black flag here. And unfortunately for a driver that's already a couple laps down, going to make his night that much tougher here this evening as unfortunately they will be deep in the pack for that 3 machine. Luckily enough, not a part of the playoffs, so not too much sweat there for him. As out in front, Daniel Dow, Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, and now the 15 ride of Mr. Michael Madden. Just trying to keep on rolling here. Now, I'm not sure how Madden's looking. Looks like Madden is good on fuel here as well. So for Michael Madden, he's good on gasoline, does not need to make another pit stop here this evening as well as the 3 cars in front of him. Unfortunately for Michael Madden, he is the first car lap down. He scored in about the 14th position. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for him to potentially work his way into the championship here this evening, especially with Caleb Kleiner rolling in position number 5 here on the speedway. So as Kleiner continues to roll right there, the group back here behind them are starting to run a lot quicker lap time, so they are close in the gap, and they will continue to keep on reeling in our lead pack here in a quick hurry. So as they start to catch the draft here off the back bumper of the 15 ride, they should catch them with a big head of steam, and it's going to be a tight race here to the checkered flag. Is nice and easy down into core number 3, down Nixon, Winker. They're hoping to stay hooked up here and hoping that they can work potentially this 2 ride into a win here this evening and into a championship drive for Michael Madden. He just got to hope that maybe we get a caution flag, he can get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap here this evening. But here we go, we see Bennett, Caleb Kleiner, here comes that 92 of Clinton Woodby, all catching up to the lead pack. They're looking to the outside, they're looking to the inside. Where do they go? Where do they make a move here with only 6 laps left to go here in this race? So 6 laps left to duke it out here this evening for all these drivers. Who's going to be able to get it done? Who's going to be able to find their way into victory lane here this evening? As there's contact, look out, oh no, around they go, and the caution flag will fly. Late race restart, we kind of figured that one was coming, as unfortunately looks like a little bit of damage there to Clinton Woodby. Jesse Calloway getting a little contact out of that as well. Let's play it back. It looks like it starts with Joe Bennett in the 15 ride of Michael Madden here. So let's see if we can get a look at it here. So Joe Bennett in the 0-5 ride. Not sure if he makes a move to the outside. What's the game plan here? So he sees Clinton Woodby coming. He jumps up to the outside groove of the 92. Unfortunately, the 92 ride had just gotten a big push here from that 4 ride of Jesse Calloway. So as Calloway gives the 92 ride a big shove, he's getting a shove himself here from the 97 of Colton Hardy. They're trying to get this outside lane rolling. The 05 jumps up in front of him, virtually throwing a block on the 92 ride, and it just doesn't line up straight. Does not line the 05 and the 92 up correctly as he jumps up in front of them. The 92 kind of looks to the outside. They don't get squared up, and all that speed, the momentum just shoots him down the racetrack into the 15 right of Michael Madden. That's going to get Madden up the track. Here we go. Nowhere to go for Clinton Woodby. Nowhere to go for that 4 ride as he's going to get some damage out of that as well. You do see Colton Hardy also getting turned right here. He gets shot down the racetrack, and he ends up hard contact into the side of the 196 of Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert ends up getting some pretty solid damage there out of that contact with that 97 of Colton Hardy, and it looks like Hardy just able to avoid getting more damage there from both the 4 and the 92 as they're able to escape by there. You see the 05 and the 15 of Madden suck up into the outside fence, and now it's going to get very, very interesting here as it also brings in that 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania now back on the lead lap here, back into the action. I don't know why he just drove up into the 5th position. I don't know if he was scored in that 5th spot. I don't think he was, but he is on the lead lap, so that's a great break there for the 318. But you do see Clinton Woodby, Jesse Calloway, Matt Hayden, Colton Hardy, Nate Cogdell, Michael Newman, all coming down pit side. They're all back on the lead lap as well. I do believe Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., first car 1 lap down, should get the wave around, should get the lucky dog back onto the lead lap. So a great break here for Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. For Rooster Rodden, he is still going to be 1 lap down. I don't think he's going to be able to get the wave around, but I do believe that should put him into the lucky dog position for Michael Madden. Obviously still damaged. Actually looks like he's used that quick repair on the 15 ride, but he is still a lap down himself. He'll need to try to get into that lucky dog position, try to get that car fixed up and back out onto the racetrack for Joe Bennett. Still down pit side. Keith Prince just rolling back out there after getting that car fixed up. Now multiple laps down there for that number 3 machine as Daniel Dow has the race lead. Nathan Nixon there in second. Kevin Winker back in third as Caleb Kleiner there in 4th. John Herbert back in 5th. Sean Catania now into the 6th position with Nate Cogdell there in 7th. Clinton Woodby in position number 8 with Matt Hayden, Jesse Calloway, Rowdio our top 10. Michael Newman will be scored back in the 11th spot with Colton Hardy there in position number 12. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. getting the wave around back on the lead lap will be scored in the 13th position. So 13 drivers still on the lead lap. And I do believe lights are still off the official iRacing pace truck, so that means we are going to go to a green-white checkered here to finish off this race. Now, it will not be NASCAR overtime. It will be the scheduled distance, as we should go back to green flag racing at the completion of lap number 93, meaning that lap 94, if we can get back and take that white flag, then the next flag will end this race no matter what. But if we see the caution flag come back out before the white flag is displayed, then we will stack them up, we will rack them up, and we will do it all over again as we will then head into our first attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening. So NASCAR overtime could potentially be on the horizon. We would have 3 attempts at NASCAR overtime, so virtually we can have 4 attempts here at at Green White Checkers here this evening. Hopefully we do not need all 4 attempts. Hopefully we only need the 1, but we'll have to wait and see how this gets played out and see who can find their way up and into victory lane as they'll get lined up here, ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle. It's going to be K-Dub down low, pushing that 40 right of Nathan Nixon. Daniel Dow, our race leader, chooses the outside lane here with Caleb Kleiner there on his back bumper. Kleiner, he was on the outside of the point standings looking in, coming into this race. Now we've seen some drivers have good runs, other drivers have tough runs here. So let's take a look at those point standings and seeing where these championship 10 are after tonight. 5 drivers will be eliminated, and the top 5 drivers in these point standings will advance into our championship race next Monday. For Catania, did not earn any stage points. Clinton Woodby did win the one and only stage here this evening. He was able to virtually leapfrog Catania into number 1 here this evening for those point standings. Clinton Woodby, he's still out there back on the lead lap now for Matt Hayden. He earned some stage points, so he closed the gap on that number 318 ride. For Michael Madden, he's a lap down, stuck back there in about that 15th position right now. Unfortunately for Madden, I think he's going to be the driver that's going to be really at risk of potentially not making these playoffs, not advancing into that championship race. Caleb Kleiner could potentially leapfrog him, as Madden and Justin Rodden will duke it out here for that lucky dog. If we do get another caution flag, then one of them could potentially get back on the lead lap and back into the possibility of working themselves into the championship. Unfortunately, no Rusty Modesty, no Skylar Berry out there on the racetrack here tonight for Colton Hardy. He's still in this race, and unfortunately, though, he had a huge points differential to try to leapfrog some of these guys, and he would need a lot more of them to run into some more issues before he could really, leapfrog enough to be able to work his way into the championship contention next week. As here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing, as nice and easy down and out of the tri-oval here in the big red custom diecast 250 here from Talladega Super Speedway. We go back to green flag racing here with the Metalhead Truck Series, as the 2 ride of Mr. Daniel Dow gets a great restart, quickly jumps down to the inside lane where he'll get lined up once again with Nathan Nixon and Kevin Winker. But now the 196 of Caleb Kleiner, he gets his teammate, that 318 of Matthew Catania, right there onto his back end. He's hoping that he can get some good runs here down the back straightaway, as the lead pack able to open up a bit of a gap here now between themselves and about that 4 ride. Unfortunately here, looks like for Colton Hardy, for the 4 machine of Jesse Galloway, Gogdell, the 5 ride of Matt Hayden, not the best of restarts right there. And for Hayden, he's one of those drivers that is just inside the playoff bracket right now that desperately needs to get a good run here to make sure he tries to lock himself into our championship race next week. So he needs to get a move on to try to work himself up here a little closer, maybe gain a few extra points, as we do see the outside lane now moving as the 92 ride gonna go with them. Clinton Woodby jumps to the outside lane. They're bouncing around here as the white flag has been displayed. So this will be the final lap no matter what happens here on the racetrack. A lot of movement. They're getting squirrely down the back straightaway, as all these pushes will not slow down. They will not come to a rest. Each and every one of these drivers are going to keep their foot in the throttle until the very end. There is no holding back. There is no sitting back, as look out, the 318 gets sideways. He may go around. Look out for Catania. There he goes. Oh, baby, big wreck. Catania up and into the catch fence. He's upside down, but we will race back to the start-finish line as the 2 ride of Daniel Dow has the race lead. But here comes Caleb Kleinert looking to try to take the win away from him, and it's Kleinert who's able to pick up the win. Caleb Kleinert out in front will win tonight's feature event. Will that be enough to work him into the championship contention here this evening, as Daniel Dow will come home in position number 2. Clinton would be back there in 3rd. Jesse Galloway with the top 4 run. John Herbert going to round out our top 5. Matt Hayden comes home in 6th with Michael Newman back in 7th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, they're in 10th with Nate Cogdell, Colton Hardy, Matthew Catania, Rooster Ronin, Michael Madden, Ash Ellison Jr., Keith Prince, Paul Ferdinandi, and Joe Bennett rounding out our field here this evening. Let's take a look back at that big wreck here, as these guys got absolutely destroyed. The pushing was not going to slow down one little bit, and unfortunately, looks like maybe a little too much. As here we go, down into corner number 3, the 318 just gets a little squirrely right here. I don't know if he gets a little contact maybe from Kevin Winker. Does K-Dub maybe catch him a little bit on corner entry? Let's take a look here. So 318 getting pretty good shove, and it does look like he kind of comes down, but the 42 definitely comes up. Kevin Winker gets into that left rear quarter panel of Catania. That's what gets him sideways here. Nowhere to go for the 92 ride, as he'll give him a little bit of a love nudge, and that's where we see the 87. The 92 looks like they may go 3 wide and keep on wrecking here, but nowhere to go for Nate Cogdell. Cogdell rolls into this one, gets a big piece of that 318 ride. They all stack up down low. Colton Hardy, Matt Hayden in in there, and then here comes the 0-0 ride on two wheels, rolling back up the racetrack. The 318's there as well. He has Paul Ferdinand, the 3-rider Keith Prince. All these guys run into him and up and in to the catch fence down in corner number 4 as the 318 ride goes for a wild ride here on our final lap of this race. And what's a Talladega race without some craziness like this? As Matthew Catania goes for a wild ride, then gets clipped right there from Michael Madden. Madden gets a piece of him right there. Ends up with some pretty solid contact and damage there himself as he gets turned around, bouncing around here. The 33 ride's going to roll around him, but unfortunately here for Madden, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for him to make it into the playoffs here this evening, if he's going to be able to work his way into the championship 5 or not. But for Caleb Kleinert, he's going to be able to celebrate here this evening as Kleinert picks up the win and gets to burn down the house here at Talladega Super Speedway as he picks up the dub and pulls that 196 into the Talladega Super Speedway victory lane as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Caleb Kleinert. Hey, Caleb, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Caleb, man, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a little bit of strategy going on out there, a lot of intensity, though, knowing that this is the final cut line before our championship race next Monday night. You came into this race 2 points shy of that transfer spot. Now, obviously, in that first stage, you didn't earn any stage points, and you saw Daniel Dow earn some there, so you knew the gap was virtually about 4 points between yourself and, I do believe, Michael Madden now was that tight battle, and you just had to come out here, have a good run, keep yourself on the lead lap. You even broke up there for a little bit with your teammates as you were trying to work with the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. and Matthew Catania there for a bit. They came down pit road, and you kind of left them high and dry there, staying with that lead group, that main group right there, and either way, it was going to play out in your favor, having a solid run up there, and obviously here late in this one, the green-white checkered, you get lined up again with Catania, and here you guys go, pushing out there on the racetrack, and it comes to a crazy finish as we see your teammate up in the catch fence down and out of corner number 4, and here you are duking it out with Daniel Dow back down to the line to steal tonight's victory here at Talladega Super Speedway. Man, take us back through it. What's going through your mind right now after a crazy race that should work yourself into a championship run here next week?
Yeah, man, that was a lot more stressful than I wanted it to be. You know, like I said last week, we put ourselves in a bad spot at Texas. So luckily, pulled that strategy, finished second last week to put me in a spot to where I could points my way in today. And honestly, right there, you know, we was just trying to get points, and like you said, we didn't get the stage points we wanted. We had some issues staying with the teammates there when pit stop started happening. Catania made the call to pit, and I didn't quite catch it in time. So next thing you know, I'm like, well, looks like I am racing with Woodby now. I felt like he was my best shot there to give me a shove. And then, you know, all that chaos happened on the backstretch when we caught the slower pack. So got some damage there, and honestly, I thought that costed me, because that's why me and Matt couldn't get a run, I feel like, because I had damage on the right side. But no, just perfect chaos there, where I think Nixon blew up and I was able to get back in line behind Dow and just get a run and side draft into the line. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have won 7 different races this year and haven't. So to be able to steal some that we shouldn't have won definitely makes up for losing the ones I felt like we should have won.
Absolutely, man, especially no bigger one than this one. Obviously, next week would be the biggest win, potentially winning the championship as well, going into victory lane next Monday. But here tonight, man, you know, you're backed up against the wall. You know that you need those points. You need this good run to work yourself into that championship race, and you're able to come out here and perform super good, and obviously win this race to put yourself into that position to have a shot here at our championship here in the Metalheads Racing League here in Season 2 of the series.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun year, and like I said, I felt like from my spot, I felt like I could have or should have won more than I have this season. So to be able to pull it off here and make the final five, I guess it is definitely a cool thing because you know how it is. Anything can happen at Vegas next week. Vegas is one of my best racetracks, so uh, just hoping for the best going next week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a roll of a die there. I feel, fuel strategy may play a major factor in that race, so it could be a luck of the draw win for somebody, or it could be the same as here tonight. Maybe a late race caution flag brings the pack back together, and then all of a sudden it's just who's got the best tires, who's got the best car, and can put themselves into the best position to maybe not only win the race but just win the championship here next week. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that gets played out. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you right back up here in victory lane. But tonight, Caleb, the victor is yourself as you're able to park that car up in the Talladega victory lane here this evening, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
First and foremost, CCRE Sports, everybody, man. Matt and Ashley, they was dedicated to pushing me until I kind of left them hanging. So, definitely couldn't have done it without them. I wouldn't have been in position to be in position if it wasn't for them. Uh, 5-star tire specialties, turbo HP, paper cuts, represent LTD, CFM, Majula C Speed Shop, all them guys. Also want to give a shout out. You might have seen it on the back bumper tonight. Mark Metcalf. He's a hauler driver for some of my buddies at Silver Hair Racing. He passed away this past Friday, so Rocket, this is for you there. Just everything fell in line. Couldn't have went any more perfect. But thank you for doing the broadcast, Nate and everybody for putting on this league, giving us something to do on Monday nights, and hopefully I'll be back up here next week.
Absolutely, brother. We look forward to it and seeing how this one gets played out for our championship race. Congratulations on winning the penultimate race here this evening, and we can't wait to see you guys back in action next Monday. Caleb, enjoy this win, enjoy the run, and hopefully, carry this momentum right on to Vegas and try to cash in, try to hit that jackpot next Monday.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Caleb Kleinert as Kleinert comes home with the race win here this evening, parking that 116 up and into victory lane. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher here as Aaron Carney says, checkers or wreckers, let's go, baby. As Kevin Winker says, at least I didn't end up on my lid tonight. That is so true, Kev. So true, brother. Normally we see that number 42 ride upside down, and luckily enough, you're able to not get tore up too much here in this feature event this evening, man. So at least that's a good takeaway from the night, a solid drive, solid performance out of you here this evening. As we get ready to pull in our second place driver, it is the number 2 ride of Daniel Dow. Dow comes home in second. Let's pull him up here into the booth. Hey, Daniel, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
What's happening there?
Not much, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening, brother, as you're able to not only earn some stage points, but a very solid second-place run. I know it's not the win that you were hoping for, as I know every one of you guys want the win, but here tonight, I believe that's enough through the stage points, the second-place run, that you should be locked in to our championship race next Monday, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind right now, throughout the race and throughout, points-wise here to finish off this season.
Yeah, like I said, we should be locked in. Running second there at the end, I told myself if Caleb went to the outside, I was going to kind of cheat up a little bit to try to make him stay behind me. But if he got it to the outside of me, I wasn't going to try to block him just because I wanted to be able to finish, hopefully worst case scenario second and maintain my points and be able to advance. That was the goal tonight, is just to advance. The win didn't really matter that much, and like I said, I got second place in stage, so should have put me there. So I'm excited and looking forward to this next race and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. With the championship always in the back of your mind, the wins are nice, the wins are always good, but if you can win that final race and be a part of that championship five, it's all that much better and gives up, some of the second place heartbreaks. It kind of puts them to the side as you get to celebrate a huge win in the championship here to finish off the season, as that's always the creme de la creme. That's the best of the best that you can do here in the series, and you're going to have a shot at it, man. I do believe points-wise, you didn't really lose any to any of the drivers back behind you here throughout the night, so you never lost any points to them. If anything, you gained more above that cut line, and should be looking pretty going into Las Vegas next Monday.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We need to chip in a chair, and we pretty much got that, I believe. So, just want to give a huge shout out to my teammates. Nathan Winker helped us out tonight. Madden, just awesome teamwork from them, strategy wise. Without them, I'd have been in the back. So everything goes to them. I appreciate them sacrificing some of their race to help me out, and like I said, it means a lot. I really do appreciate them.
Absolutely. Now, talking about your teammate there, not Kevin Winker, Michael Madden. Madden came in, just above that cut line. Obviously, didn't earn stage points. Had a rough go there, went a lap down. And unfortunately for Madden, it's looking like maybe he may be that odd driver out here this evening and may not be a part of that championship contention next Monday. Man, what was kind of going through his mind and through the voice chat here this evening, knowing that he was having a bit of a rough go here in this race?
That was part of the problem. That's the reason he was back from us and not with us a lot, was he was having issues with his headset and could not communicate with us at all throughout the race. So, I mean, he was just behind the eight ball from the beginning, getting a penalty from the week before. He was didn't think he was going to be able to make it, but he was able to make it, so that really helped him out there. And then, man, I don't know, it's going to come down to just you know a point or two to see if he ended up making it or not. I'm hoping that he did, but like I said, we'll have to see.
Absolutely going to be very, very interesting to see how that all plays out. But for yourself here tonight, Daniel, doing enough, locking yourself in to that championship five here this evening, brother, and coming home with a very solid second place drive here this evening, man. Anyone else you'd like to thank here for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Man, yeah, it's coming down to the last race. Really couldn't you know drawn it up any better. Just like making it to it is an accomplishment, and we'll just see what how it all unfolds for us next week. And want to say a big thank you to the league, Nate. Being the head of the snake there, it's a lot to listen to. You can't please everybody, and they do a great job. Race control, David, he does a great job, and like I said, thank you for all you do for your broadcasting for us and everything. We really appreciate it, everything that everybody does. Thanks to my teammates again. Just like I said, just would not be here without them.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Daniel, we can't wait to see you back out there next Monday for our championship event and maybe right up here in the booth and celebrating a championship here next week. We can't wait to see how it gets played out, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again up here in the booth, brother. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you back out here Monday night.
That's the plan, partner. I appreciate you. See you next week.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Daniel Dow as Dow comes home in position number 2 here this evening as we get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 92 of Clinton Woodby. As Woodby comes home in position number 3. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Clinton, man, another great run, another great performance here for you as you're able to win stage number 1. You're able to earn some pretty solid points there through that stage. You're feeling pretty confident there in that final run, obviously being able to make some big moves. You jump up there, you're trying to help that 196 of Caleb Kleinert and the 318 of Gadania get towards the front there. Obviously some contact from down low between Winker and the 318. They get tied together. The 318 ride goes around. Somehow you're able to keep your foot in the throttle, kind of get through it, and you're able to run down the front straightaway here and still come home with a very solid third place run, and for what I do believe locks you in to that championship 5 here next Monday. Man, take us through it. What's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, it was just a crazy finish. The game plan tonight was to kind of go win the stage and at least finish top 5. So I guess completing the game plan successfully is always a plus. I wish we could have not run over the 0-5, but when you throw a block like that, I had very little time to react when he did that because I just got hit from Jesse in the back. So I hate to hit somebody whenever they throw a block like that and they can't handle it, but it happens. Yeah, there at the end, I was probably getting ready to get collected, and then the hit from Herbert just squared me up and kept me straight somehow, and just kind of pushed me forward.
Yeah, absolutely worked out perfectly there for you as I was able to keep you pointed in the right direction, keep on rolling, and still come home with a top 3 run. And now, obviously, looking forward here next week, our season finale at Las Vegas, man. How do you feel going into that, knowing that you're going to have a shot at potentially winning this championship here in season 2 of the Metalheads Truck Series?
Yeah, I've had a decent amount of racing at Vegas. I was just telling Daniel that there for probably a good week or so I was racing with Keelan Harvick every morning. We just happened to be in the same split whenever I'd get on early in the morning. So that's where we were racing. So I just decided to race it, and he was there. So I had I guess, semi-professional amateur I could go chase, and I was competitive with him. So I got a decent feeling about it.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of, extra practice there, and then obviously being able to kind of follow in behind a good young driver like Keelan, and obviously everything he's learned from his dad and through his experience in racing, and, kind of being able to sit in behind some of those guys that are, pretty high I ratings, that have been around, that have ran a lot of laps at a lot of these NASCAR tracks. You kind of take all those things into consideration and keep those, little bit of notes kind of in the back of your mind that you can use to your advantage when it comes to a race or an event like this next race at Las Vegas, man. And obviously you want to keep those secrets, those tricks in your back mind, but I'm sure for no doubt that you're going to be a tough cookie to try to beat here for that championship next Mondays. Clinton, solid run, solid drive here this evening, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, but who would you like to thank for such a great run here tonight in your third place drive?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan. She's always my #1 supporter, and Blair Peterson for continuing the sponsorship. Can't thank him enough for all that, and all my teammates for the help tonight. I don't know if we really ever noticed to tell much, but they were just helping call strategy out and everything else. Keep me in tune with where everybody else around me was running for the points. So appreciate that, and you guys for the broadcast and the league.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Clinton, heck of a run, heck of a drive here tonight, man. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here. Maybe the first driver up here next Monday night is our maybe race winner and champion here next Monday night, brother. Enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in the booth.
Yep, appreciate it. Let's go get it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there you go. Our penultimate race comes to a close here this evening with the Metalheads Truck Series. As each and every one of these drivers gave it their all, gave it their best shot. Unfortunately for 5 drivers, they will be eliminated for these playoffs, and 5 drivers will advance into our championship race next Monday. So you guys do not want to miss that. What is 5 drivers will duke it out. Whoever doesn't necessarily win, we can have one of our non-playoff drivers find victory lane there at Vegas. For the 5 drivers that are part of that championship, all they have to do is finish in front of the other 4 competitors to win this championship. Stage points don't matter. Bonus points throughout the regular season don't matter. It is heads up. You versus 4 other drivers to try to find yourself in either victory lane or in the best position in front of the other 4 to win the championship here in Season 2 of the Metalheads Truck Series. And here tonight, the Big Red Customs Diecast 250, man, was a absolutely amazing show, absolutely amazing race, and we can't wait to see what these guys have in store for us at Las Vegas next Monday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some great racing, and hopefully we'll see each and every one of you guys right back up on the grandstands cheering these guys on. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit the like button on the stream right now, hit that thumbs up for us, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Drop a comment or two, let us know what you thought of the broadcast, and we can't wait to see you guys back up here in the broadcast booth, as we'll be back up here in the booth. I don't think tomorrow night, I don't think we got anything planned tomorrow, so we'll probably take it off, and I do have like 200 bags of concrete to do tomorrow, so I'm probably definitely going to be tuckered out, so that's probably a good thing. But Wednesday, we'll be back up into the booth. Wednesday, we will be right back onto the dirt track, man. man. Our Wednesday night series will be back in action. We'll see some Dirt Street Socks out there, so hopefully we see you guys in the grandstands cheering those guys on and watching some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Woo! Man, what a run, what a race, what a show!
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous face pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands